This did show a great deal of progress in Hugh Freeze's first year.
I mean, the fans and all, they love me and all, so, it's just been like home to me. So, I'm willing to play for Coach Freeze any time of the day.
I'm sure that you will be the subject of some celebration on the square in Oxford tonight. Antonio, congratulations on your decision. Wish you the best of luck during your time with the Rebels. You got a hottie-toddy for us?
The land shark all day.
Antonio Connor, number 24 in the country, number 2 safety, headed to Ole Miss.
Tweets, Desmond Howard.
Here are some tweets, some Twitter reaction. Our colleague Desmond Howard saying, judging by the skepticism I've heard at Ole Miss, seems as though Coach Freeze finally figured out how they do it in the South. Congrats.
Wow.
Bruce McAllister, former Ole Miss star, said, I salute all of you gents who have decided to wear the red and blue. Congrats to Coach Freeze and the staff. Win the day, says the Deuce, and Laquan Treadwell, the top receiver in the country who is part of this class. Crazy part is we're not done. Who's next? Hey, the opportunity to answer that question, who better to go to than Hugh Freeze, who's with Allison Williams in Oxford.
Thank you very much, guys. Coach Freeze, the only thing that got a louder cheer than when you heard Antonio Connor announce his decision to come here was the land shark symbol. When you think about what this defense is going to look like when you get the likes of Connor and Nkemdiche, what makes you the most excited?
Well, to get Antonio Connor at the, that's really the grand slam we were talking about all week, and Derek Nix did an outstanding job in leading the recruitment of him, and he's a Mississippi kid. Mm-hmm. We think he's the top player in the state this year, and to land him at the end of this day is just huge. And, you throw him with Levon Hooks, the number 1 JUCO player in the nation, and, of course, Robert Nkemdiche. They definitely are going to be instant impact players on our defense.
What about on the other side of the ball, on that offensive line, and to get Austin Golson as well? I mean, what are things starting to look like up front for you?
To land, the number 1 offensive tackle in Laramie Tunsil, and then the number 3 tackle in Austin Golson, and then the 2 in-state kids we have, Durante and Davion. We feel like we've hit a home run with our offensive line needs. We're graduating 6 guys next year, so these guys, we expect them to play next year, and of course, many more plays after that with the loss in graduation. So I think we filled a good need there, and Matt Luke did a wonderful job in leading the charge and recruiting those offensive linemen along with Chris Kiffin on Laramie. So man, we're thrilled today, and we have so many more kids I wish I could talk about. The running backs like Jordan Wilkins and Mark Dotson, and the return of Nick Brazel, and just on and on. But we've got and then Laquan Treadwell was our number 1 recruiter after he committed. He's been so vocal and so loyal to us, and so we're enjoying today very much.
Winning the day?
We're winning the day, and Antonio Connor throwing up the land shark there, it really fired us up.
You can see that. A lot of fired up people here in the war room at Ole Miss. Let's go back to the studio.
And Allison, rightfully so, Ole Miss is putting together an historic class. And Rod, you brought up a very good point. It's not only making headway in the SEC, but how does Ole Miss's class impact the way you view the SEC West right now?
Well, I think that's a real critical factor, and one you have to consider. Now that they've added more talent, where does this put them? How do they stack up? I mean, in terms of talent, I think you still start at the top and you say Alabama is still the top dog in the West. And then you look at what A&M has done. They're right there. And then LSU is still there. And so this may be a great influx of talent, but I don't think it automatically vaults them up above those programs. They still have to find a way to compete with them on a weekly basis. So I think better talent, and I think the other thing that you have to acknowledge is that a lot of people may be skeptical that they've had such a great class because we haven't seen anything quite like this, but the unique circumstances. You've got one guy who had a brother on the team. Mm-hmm. You have another guy who wants to stay near home, which really impacts it. So while people may step back and go, wow, how could they possibly do this? But a unique set of circumstances also allows them to really take advantage of this.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people were scratching their heads, saying, how did this happen? But, on certain years, things just fall that way. You have those unique circumstances. But here's what I like about this class so far. Yeah, they've got the names, they've got the stars, they've spread it out throughout the team. It's a defensive lineman, it's a wide receiver, it's a DB, it's an offensive lineman. He's signing impact players at places on their football team that aren't just loading down at linebacker, loading down at defensive ends, loading down. He's spreading it out. Obviously, the lines of scrimmage right now are very impressive.
They move up the chain in the West now for next season, or
Well,
is it a couple years down the line?
I think that, again, if you play them early, which is probably his plan, because in that plan he's saying, if I can play them early, 2 years from now I got a chance. And so it's going to depend on how they come in there. But I guarantee you right now he's thinking, get them on the field early, and let's see where we are 2 or 3 years from now.
Well, and let's keep in mind, too, they're not going to sneak up on anybody next year. Whereas this year, coming into the season, exceeded expectations, wonderful season, a bowl win, a bowl game that was played in the South. That's pivotal in recruiting, too.
Had a huge crowd follow them, too, to Birmingham.
Absolutely.